We're more than halfway there, Matt Damon. And this is a Farlands or Bust stream. Should I keep calling them Farlands or Bust streams? If they are to replace the official episodes, as was clickbaited, although unsuccessfully so, with the last episode title being the last episode. We're up to 53,661.17 megabytes since that last episode. I do need to disable my F3 key on this keyboard. I might be able to do that right now, actually. Because we have our very own safety F3 button. Not that it generally matters right now. We're not that far from our last F3. Keyboard. F3. Unassigned. F3 is unassigned. All right. Who's got your woofs ready? The dawn of a new era in Farlands or Bust. Woof! Woof! I'm ready to begin. Are you ready to begin? We've got our diamond pants on, our diamond sword of halfway there-itudeness, and our other diamond tools, and our random 5 golden ingots, which is just there to fill up inventory space, I suppose. I'm a little concerned. Unless it was that chicken. I've gotten myself into this situation again. That's the chicken, I hope. But I gotta... Oh, we're good. It was just the chicken, everybody. It's just a chicken. I thought it was a creeper. Alright. Let's be unable to place blocks. There we go. Let's secure the hidey hole. Grab Wolfie. Get rid of this extraneous bucket. And that way's west. Let's go. That's why I was having problems placing blocks. I was on the offset. I was off the onset. The offsetedly. Upsettedly. Indeed. Now it was just that that design of I do match my diamond sword, don't I? That design of hidey hole with like the narrow exit that got me in trouble before, and then I got stuck and like a creeper almost followed me in. That I said I would never do again, yet here we are. It's kind of an unavoidable design to stick with. Do I need wood? Not really, but... The journey is wearing down on my sanity. But I've only just begun, it feels. Since we took 3 months away from the series. The most efficient is the elevated hidey hole? Yeah, I mean, probably, but it's a little bit... It's not very ceremonious to end and start an episode on the elevated hidey hole. Indeed. What was I doing yesterday that I didn't stream? Oh, I remember. Or was that Saturday? I don't remember anything. I think we looked through the footage of our fish video, which took a very long time. And I wish we had recorded it all with the GoPro, as opposed to my DSLR, my T5i. The girlfriend refers to it as my fancy camera, and I keep trying to convince her that it's not that fancy. It's like 14 years old, or whenever the T5i came out. And I'm not very good at using it.
That is a joke. I get it. It is not funny, but I get it.
I used all my life savings to buy stock in bows. It's a sound investment.
Weatherman! Perfect! Perfect! See? You just have to hang around long enough and be memorable enough, and you too can have your own unique resub alert, like Weatherman right there. I knew it was a joke. Weatherman, 84 months in the sub. Much appreciated, and for the dad joke. Once again, as expected. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. A couple days ago, we watched that episode, and I'm taking notes of like the episode and timestamp of where I want alerts. I'm like, yep, that one's for Weatherman. Good times. I'm glad it worked, too. I'm glad Stream Elements decided to adhere to my instructions. All that hard work paid off before the stream. Because I can load them up in Paramount Plus, but I still have to watch the ads. And then, like a series of ads plays when I load up an episode. And then when I seek to the specific timestamp, another set of ads plays before that loads up. I'm keeping Paramount Plus in business. By watching a bunch of advertisements for Ozempic or, you know, whatever drug they're advertising today. Skyrizi. Yeah, I would think that they would have some sort of account-based, like, you watched a series of ads within the last X amount of minutes, so we won't show you them until you're within a threshold. But why would they? Why would they go through that extra trouble when they can just puke ads at you and then charge their advertisers for every view?
I don't know what to say. I'm touched.
You're both touched.
You don't need ads with a subscription.
You don't need ads with a subscription. That's true, isn't it? That it's a completely sound Model of media distribution. Key Sky. Thank you for 84 months in the sub tub. Oh, I don't have any sticks. Sub tub. Those were back to back 84 months? They were. You're saying the floating point is going to break it too hard before the farlands. We don't know. But we'll find out in less than 1 million blocks from here when it rolls over to a half block. As long as you keep moving. So, like, just keep walking. It'll be fine. What is my other choice? Spooky noises. All right. I'm snoring. I'm snoring at the nighttime. What I forgot to do was, after we recorded the episodes, Avalash donated $200 to our charity. Didn't have a question. Anonymous donated $35, which got us to $500. And then TDW Fan donated $20. And TDW Fan asked what are my favorite public media programs, such as PBS, NPR, etc. I don't know that I have a favorite. I certainly don't. Oh, I think that's lava under there, probably. I don't watch public media currently. I mean, was I big on Sesame Street? Yeah, I was the bird. I mean, I liked Snuffleupagus, as it was my favorite as a kid. I mean, I guess, wasn't Cosmos? Was like the original Carl Sagan Cosmos? Wasn't that a PBS thing? I didn't watch it when it was originally aired on PBS, but... yeah, I don't take in anything like that. I don't watch, broadcast anything. But yeah, that's a hard one to answer. I mean, yeah, I guess I watched Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers and stuff like that as a kid. But I can't think of anything within the last 30 years that I would be comfortable saying this is my favorite. Another resounding answer to a question here in Farlands or Busts. Nova? Yeah. I don't know, I feel like sometimes I see Nova things on like Amazon Prime or wherever they end up. And then I like try watching them and they're just not as good anymore or something like that. Or they like, I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't going the right way for a second.
Oh, it's you.
Don't be so happy to see me.
All right, I won't.
Have you received your severance yet?
Ah! Cheaty Snow! Cheaty Snow, ZK. Thank you for 65 months. I have not. I have not received my severance yet. I didn't even have a contract. I'm going on strike. I didn't receive my my booklet of Craigslist coupons. They're basically just links to the free section. Oh, great. More wood pallets. Can somebody do an exclamation point charity? I don't know how to make Cobot not restrict the alerts to subs. Or, the commands. Oh, we have, I just now realized we have full shirts. I remember the last time we had full shirts. The snazzy pants. Yeah, that's right. Yesterday we were looking over our fish footage. And then Saturday we made stuffed cabbage rolls again, which is a lengthy process. And we will be eating them for the next week and a half. We even like froze a batch.
You have absolutely no idea how this game is played, do you?
No.
That's a great alert too. Abby X Taylor taking advantage of September. If my trombone was together, I would toot for thee. Thank you very much. Tier 2, 6 months in advance, getting 30% off, I assume.
You have absolutely no idea how this game is played, do you?
No.
Double alert. Get blasted. Tier 2 for the first time.
Tier 2 for the first time. How did you do double alerts? You're gaming the system. Gaming the system. Thank you. 42 months and a tier 2 upgrade. And 6 months. Getting 30% off. Which means every flappy penny of that goes directly to me. And none to Twitch. Thank you very much, Abby. Tub. I almost forgot to snore. It's gonna take a while to get used to during the streaming. Indeed. Yesterday afternoon, we went on a little picnic. A little state park with the beach, and the tide was coming in. We saw hundreds of tiny little crabs running about. The girlfriend, of course, picked up some. She also picked up a snake. We were walking on the trail. She saw a snake. She picked it up without hesitation. I was like, ah, okay. I mean, it was just your common garden snake. I'm not afraid of snakes, but I'm not going around willy-nilly picking them up when I see them in the wild. Burninated. We did not come here to travel fast. That's true. Spooky noises. So you're saying jumping forward on ice is faster than jumping forward on land. Perceptively didn't seem to make a difference. My perception. When I crossed into that beach and over. I don't know if that's the case here. It's a small, minute, minuscule difference. Yeah, I know in the current versions, like sprint jumping on ice is faster. Well, no, that's what I mean. I'm comparing. I guess it might. I guess it might feel a little bit faster. It's certainly not easy on the eyes. Not easy on the ice. Yeah, I guess you do maintain a little slip when you land. The slide Gives you a few additional pixels between jumps. I know, I was jumping on normal blocks to compare. Is what I was doing. Science! I was doing science! I don't need coal. I have a bunch of charcoal. Charred coal. Hello. How are you? Living the dream. Ah. Look at me farlanding. $5.20. Nice.
Noise.
Oh, hello, Juno. Whoa, gotta watch where I'm going. That could have been lava. Hmm. It was fine. It was fine, everybody. It was fine. Everything's fine. Kind of like chat. I don't know if they heard your part of that conversation, but I'm going to let them use their imaginations.
Tell me. That's enough.
Matrix.
Yeah, because it's out you out of black right now. And I'm like, why are you guys? That's right. I'm just like, people do not need this added to them.
It's fine.
Nice.
Very nice people. Oh.
And I was like, no, they're not. They're just so good.
No, they can't. Hello, the girlfriend, they say. It's far too late. Hello, she says in return. Oh, okay, I'm stuck here. No, I know you can't hear what she's saying. Because I'm a professional audio technician with a proper noise gate on my microphone. It was mostly just me laughing at the silence. That is honestly how it is. Beep, beep, beep. Oh, Wolfie. This has been going on 11 years, 12. Where have you been? And awakeness. It's the year 2023. We started in 2011. That is how a math do. That is how numbers be. Bees! I think the game's giving us the middle finger. Well, now hold on a minute. I need to get back in the... Now that I've disabled the F3 key, I need to get back into the picture-taking thumbnail making mode. I forgot to do that on the last one. So I just jazzed up a picture of the Enterprise for the thumbnail. Yeah, there's so little space to do very cool things with thumbnails. I mean, same goes for Twitch emotes as well. Which is why you just end up having big stupid faces and arrows pointing at things, because they catch people's attention. But it's pink now. I'm surprised we didn't do a pink season number. The first, like, 3 seasons were the same. I didn't think to start changing it until later. They're just, like, red. Yes, it's a Barbie movie tie-in. I wish I had Barbie movie marketing money. That would be nice. That was a spawner. Was not. Oh. What's new? Whoop. Can't. Ugh. Ugh. You're doing music production. Mr. Randomizer needs a producer. Keep ending up on these cliffs. I do have a hole in my torso. I'm sorry, do you not have torso hole? Symptoms of torso hole. Torso hole, that's hard to say. Include. Please do not insert anything into your torso hole. Torso hole. Torso hole. Ah. Torso hole, torso hole, torso hole. That's pretty difficult. Torso hole. You sound like Jordy. Subsponge. We've increased the displacement of the relative strength of the rafter designs 4 times. 400%, Captain. Oh. Nothing. Ugh. Poof. You said you wanted to make cupcakes. Well, I have a cupcake mix. It's just chocolate, gluten-free. The girlfriend, and I don't know about this, the girlfriend claims it would be a good idea to add our blueberries to it, to have blueberry chocolate cupcakes. A blueberry muffin makes sense, but a cupcake is not a muffin. Oh, I don't know. I might do like a half a batch. You add blueberries to your brownies. I just don't want to not like it. Because I got blueberry... Not blue... I got chocolate frosting for the top of the cupcakes. Narcolepsy. Whoa, Wolfie. I mean, because we pick blueberries. There's a blueberry park that we pick blueberries, and I use them in my oatmeal every morning. But we made blueberry jam, jelly, more of a blueberry syrup. It didn't really coagulate as well as I wanted it to make a jelly, but yeah, I don't know. I used the whole thing of pectin. What I learned is I should have like boiled it for longer. I didn't want to burn it, so I didn't boil it very long before going to the canning process. So yeah, I needed to bring it to a rolling boil for longer, like to make it thicker. Because I used a pectin package. Yeah, it still tastes good, but it is more soupy than what I would consider a jelly. I knew it. I made blueberry pancakes. My strawberry plants are like producing like 2 strawberries per day. I've just been sporadically having those in the morning as well. I mean, my dad liked blueberry pancake syrup. Like, you can buy that stuff. Well, that's kind of what we ended up with. But it still worked. Like yesterday when we went on our picnic, I brought a peanut butter jelly sandwich, and the jelly was the blueberry jelly. Ooh, what I really wish I could make would be those, like, cream-filled cupcakes, but gluten-free. I forgot what they're called. You know, that have the little whoop, 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 the loop-de-loop on the top. They're Twinkie adjacent. Hostess. I think they're just called Hostess cupcakes. But but I don't have like vanilla filling or anything like that. I just got chocolate frosting for the top. Seems like too much effort. No, ding dongs are like the hockey pucks. I'm just talking about the cupcakes. I think they're just called cupcakes. I would need like a. I don't have a method by which to insert frosting into cupcakes. A frosting syringe. I don't even know how it's technically done. A cream filling. Cream. It's a cream filling. For your creme. Creme filling. Creamy creme. Use a frosting tip to extract the middle, and then fill with piping bag. Extract the middle? Now you're talking about some delicate surgery. I mean, I had like the hot dog bun tray is also billed as like a homemade Twinkie tray. But I could make some cupcakes in that. That's not a bad idea. Long cupcakes. Tube cakes. Is today supposed to be rollover day? No, I'm just clickbait with the title. Got him. I mean, by all accounts, I don't think we're going to know until it happens. Unless we have some very accurate estimators. Excuse? Sir? And a streaming. Farlands. Do you think it would be easy enough to write an AI to count blocks as you walk before you get to the farlands? See, that's my understanding, is that AI isn't good at that sort of stuff. Like, it's not good at doing things that it's not within its narrow field of doing things. You know? Yeah, it's not. I'm very sick of the term AI. It's not being used. Speaking of commercials, there's like, I'm sure you've seen it. There's like this Mercedes commercial for some new car, and like they're showing all this weird digital stuff, like it's being made out of like futuristic stuff, and John Hamm is narrating it. Like, his first words are like, with artificial intelligence, high quality material, you know, like all this other stuff. And I'm like, what? Like, he's suggesting they used artificial intelligence either in the car or to build the car, but there's no substantiation to that. They don't have to prove that. They just can say it. It's a marketing buzzword. I assume there is little to none AI that's in the car that ships, nor that was used in making the car, except maybe to write the ad script or something. But they don't need to substantiate that. Say what, where, or what it does, or if it works. There's no... Yeah, well, it is the new blockchain or NFT. I mean, and you can tell because all the same people are hoarding around it and trying to sell it and trying to profit from it and trying to incorporate it into their latest scams. It's all the same people. Yeah, that's frustrating because I know it confuses people who might not be as knowledgeable. And I'm not even knowledgeable, but I'm knowledgeable enough to just know the difference between a marketing buzzword that has zero anything behind it versus like an actual technology that can help anything. Oh yeah. I mean, people already have made equations that convert the world save file into an estimate for how far we've walked. But that's, I think, all you need is to figure out the conversion. But anyway, thirsty. I'm thirsty, Wolfie. Ugh. Woof indeed. I'm stuck. I'm a professional walker. Texas Ranger. Oh. Magma. Trying to see if this is an actual like block of dirt or if it's just a one thick. It's just a one thick thing. All right. Well, I mean, we can manage with this maybe. Let's see. Let's see how bad of an idea this is. I'm sure this would be safe, right? I don't want to do that, though. Would this be safe? No, I mean, it's kind of open. I should probably... There we go. Always making things hard on myself. It's an elevated sidey hole, you're right. A new design. Oh, I ain't right. There we go. I'm afraid if I leave it like this, I'm gonna like spawn outside, like on the torch or something. You know what I mean? That would be weird. Let's not maybe do that. Oh, that's wrong. I also can't place. It's raining! Ah, my elevated sidey hole is gonna be flooded. I can't place blocks. I seem to have made a mistake. I'm sure it will be fine. Are we? I don't know why I can't, like, place a block on the side of the torch, you know what I mean? Oh. I guess you can't. So you're telling me if I place down a bed here, I'm not gonna spawn outside. What's the worst that can happen? Death? and like a death loop if I die and then spawn back here and spawn to the death again? I mean, I don't think, even if it is, I don't think the falling height is death height. I may be overthinking this. I may be underthinking this. Consider that. Alright, well, barring any catastrophe, I'm gonna go to sleep, reset the rain timer, and we're gonna back up the world, assuming that I don't fall out of my bed. Pillow first. So let's go to sleep and do that. It's fine. It's fine. There's a first for everything. 53,733.3 megabytes. Minecraft. Alright. I simply could never forget to stream Farlands or Bust today. Oh, gosh. Blah. Have you got your woofs ready? Woof! Ah! Well, this gives you an interesting perspective on the world. Alright. Well, this was a weird one. That's for sure. Is it really protected? Who knows? But let's continue on. I almost want to like see what it looks like from the other side, but that is probably just going to be too annoying. It'll be a memory for only you and I and anybody who gets to this point of the VOD. Careful. Oh, that pig was dry. I guess here's another question regarding how this series is presented on YouTube. Should I just... because I had episodes, like the episodic episodes, in a playlist on YouTube, and then I had a separate playlist for non-episodic live streams. If there aren't going to be that many episodes, should I just combine them all into the Season 11 playlist? I'm thinking of that, because then they would be chronological. If I do another episode, you know, it would be in its proper order. Which is partly why I started to put the date stamp, spooky date stamp, on the stream. Yeah, that's what I think. I think it might have caused inconvenience. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and also, I mean, YouTube is demoting? demoralizing. They're they're phasing out. they're really phasing out the use and usefulness of playlists. De-emphasizing. I think that might have been what I was looking for. Like, they haven't fully removed them yet. Although now they're kind of replacing them with podcasts. Like now, whenever I create a new playlist, they're like, are you creating a new podcast or a playlist? Depreciating. Depreciating might have also been the word. Yeah, I don't think YouTube knows what it's doing anymore. Shorts aren't good for it. It's not a podcast platform. It's just like a really bizarre thing for whatever reason. It's, again, I think it's just like whoever comes up with a shiny object at the board meeting. And the new YouTube product manager's like, yes, make it happen. So yeah, I mean, I'll have to see it the middle of the month, but it might be the first month since I joined the YouTube partner program that I'm not gonna get a payout because there's a minimum threshold of $100. I've definitely been flirting with that for a while. It's annoying because it doesn't pay. It's not profitable. I or anybody can't reasonably dedicate any time to YouTube or improving our content for YouTube. But it's not like there's no viewers either. Like, the Farlands or Bust episodes get like 5,000 views. It's not 50,000 views, like during the height or whatever, but that's still 5,000. I don't know if all those 5,000 are watching the whole thing, or any repeat watchers. I don't know why anybody would bother. But, like, that's nothing. Like, I wish there was something I could do for those viewers who I know are there. But the platform doesn't give me anything in return. as opposed to here on Twitch, it's kind of weird and backwards, where, yeah, we've got 86 viewers here. But there are at least 343 of you who together are making it worth it in the subtub. You know, plus or minus 30 gift subs at this point.
I don't know what to say.
Speaking
I'm
of
touched.
which,
You're both touched.
Subtub.
people like Small Batch, who's been here for 84 months. Thank you very much, Subtub. $344.
Thank you so much for joining
Doc.
us.
Gratis.
You are going to assist me in a most important ceremony.
I'd gotten used to forgetting about that alert. Thank you, Doc Gratis, for the 10 gift subs. Gotta hold on to those. They're gonna be on sale at the end of the month. Bath bomb. Oh, thank you, Wolfie, for breaking my boat. Yeah, some of those, all those alerts are still there, and some of them are definitely anxiety-inducing. That's kind of one of them.
I heard your subs went to the store and ate all the tubs and the tubs had to close.
That's true. Okay. And awakeness. I snore during streaming now. It was requested. Since there may be no more episodes. Ooh. This is bad news written all over it. Let's go this way, Wolfie. Oh, jeez. What? Wait, what just happened? Was that the alert? Wait, or did we actually get shot? I am confused. Somebody donated $50. Why? What was that other sound effect? Okay, let me figure out what happened there. So first of all, I think Wolfie took actual damage in the video game. It just happened to be at exactly the same time that somebody donated to the charity, which, for whatever reason,
Suck it, Doc.
for whatever reason, also has the arrow shot go along with it. That I messed up, clearly. But it's got the trombone. alert. That's confusing. Well, now hold on. I gotta look at the thing. Abandoned Warlock. It cut off your name. I had to hover over it. Thank you, Abandoned Warlock, for your $50 donation to Direct Relief's Maui response. Abandoned Warlocks was married in Maui to their wife. So thank you very much for stepping in with the support. Much appreciated. I gotta look at that alert really quick. I thought I took that away because it used to be the woof, that dog that woofs.
Hey! Get off my sugar! Bad bees! Bad! Ow! Ow! Oh, they're defending themselves somehow!
The charities are defending themselves. Trombone Blat.
Trombone Blat. Doc Redis, thank you very much. Boy, settings. Okay, I think I fixed it. That was speaking of anxiety. A lot happened all at once. That was a good few hours I spent before the stream setting all these alerts up. You still don't know what happened. Well, basically, when somebody donates to the charity, originally, in like the Season 9 fundraiser, the sound effect was the bow shot. In order to encourage donations, you know, make me feel like I'm getting shot at. I changed that to the Riker trombone, literally just before the stream today. But apparently it still kept the bow shot in addition to that. So when the most recent donation came through, it played the bow shot. Wolfie, coincidentally in the game, took some fall damage, spooky noises, at exactly the same time, making me think that Wolfie had been shot, and then Riker tooted his trombone. All in rapid succession. So I was very confused. A real hidey hole paradox mystery sort of a situation. Good gravy. Tubes. Take it from the title that we're close to the floating point change. Relatively. We're relatively close. But not today close. Not even maybe this year close. But we're relatively close. Now that's a big mouse cursor. Reticule. Reticule? Radical reticule. Carry on. Still haven't built my cold frame. My cold frame? Yeah, cold frame for my plants. I feel like I have time. I'm too busy making cupcakes. Cabbage rolls. Which alerts? And awakeness. If Minecraft was real, the moon would always be red. Okay. Why? I demand scientific evidence to back up these claims. Ooh. That's neat. The moon is always opposite the sun, so it would always be a blood moon. I don't think all full moons are blood moons, though. Oh, you mean opposite the planet. Well, I think we already, it's pretty good, Starcut. We already tried to figure out, I mean, the fact that it still goes through phases, even though it always rises at exactly sunset, which means it's always opposite. Is kind of, let's say, unusual. How would that even work? I'm not talking about the phases. The phases wouldn't work, but it would have to... The moon would have to orbit once a year. And therefore kind of just orbit in parallel to the planet. I don't think so. It would have to be very far away. And this planet would have to be very dense. But not knowing anything about the physics and the equations, it may or may not even be possible. I certainly don't even... I mean, there are like Lagrange points, but those only exist because of the moon. Like, a Lagrange point couldn't exist without a third body. Hold something in its like solitary orbit like that. And there are no tides in Minecraft. Right, I guess I'm trying to simplify it. I don't care about the phases that it goes through. I don't care about the infinite Minecraft planet that's flat. I'm just trying to reconcile a moon of a planet that is always full. Like stuck in the full phase. Therefore always rising at sunset and setting at sunrise. More boats. More wood. I don't know. I'm no physicist here. I'm no physicsman. Oh, okay. I felt Wolfie spawning in front of me. I mean, there are tidally locked planets. It would be hell for that moon if it had an atmosphere, though. Not so damn. I mean, yeah. I mean, there are tidally locked planets where it is a planet that always has one face sighting the sun. And technically, if Earth was a sun, the source of light, then the moon would be in that same situation, but it's not. Go, you dingus.
You really are the most devious bastard in New York City.
Indeed.
Indeed. You said it. Those are your words. Night Owl, thank you very much for 6 months in the subtub with those Bezos bucks. Much appreciated, subtub. Yeah, no, geosynchronous doesn't make sense either. What if our planet is also orbiting the sun once per day? Well, no, then we wouldn't have a day-night cycle. Twice per day? Super fast? Night Owl Gaming is sleeping, but you're a night owl. False advertising. Thank you for the resub. True, it could be 8 a.m. for them. Yeah, I guess I don't know what happens if maybe there's a second moon behind the moon, which stabilizes the orbit. See, I don't know. Maybe we're the moon. Now there's a theory. I don't know that that helps, though. I'm trying to think about it. And if we were the moon, orbiting that moon, I don't think you can reconcile us both, like the planet and the sun, remaining at the same place in the sky all the time. Two moons, two suns? Yeah, maybe the sun is orbiting us. Wait a minute. We're going back to the heliocentric. Or not the heliocentric, the geocentric model. It's so absurd I can't even think of the proper name for it. Crystalline spheres. Boogie noises. Ooh. Maybe we're just a rogue planet and we're passing a new star every day. Which also just happens to coincide with our moon rising and setting. Which is also how it goes through phases. Because sometimes the star is coming in at a different angle. figured it out, everybody, with science. Theoretical science. Woohoo! Yawning's back. Oh, that's lava. Let's maybe not really go that way. Why don't the hills and cliffs ever face the other direction? I know they do, but you know what I mean. We're always climbing up hills and then they suddenly end in a sheer cliff face. Where's all the sheer cliff faces that we approach that gracefully and gradually slope down on the opposite side? That was a 1.8 update item. Don't try to rationalize away my confirmation bias. You posted what? The Minecraft moon situation? I'm sure people have already discussed it ad nauseum. Go on, get. Maybe Minecraft isn't real. How dare you suggest such things as these? Sleep. Oh, that brought out a little burp. Yeah, I guess I haven't considered the side effects of doing more than 3 snores in a day. I'm gonna damage my larynx. Larynx? Is that a thing? Is that a voice box thing? Have you been more or less scared for Wolfie since the incident? I mean, it's a lot less pressure. I mean, there were a few people who were kind of, I wouldn't say upset, but remiss that we didn't make a bigger deal. Out of Wolfie dying unceremoniously. Twice. But like now that that's over with, I mean there's still a hefty price to pay, that is to have to reload a backup and lose all the distance we made. But such is the price of the hidey hole paradox. I don't think I'm approaching it any more different, though, than I did before, I guess, if your question was that. It's the my character dying that's like... Once we get that over with, then I'll be like, whew, don't gotta worry about that anymore. Just like in real life, yep. Ooh-wee. Use, sirs. Remember the timer? Seventeen. Ooh. Oh, excuse me. Whew. Hey, dirt. Insurmountable. Oh god, what was the word? What was the word of the month? No runner? I always forget. Incredulous. I remembered. I need to be incredulous in my memory of the word incredulous. Repeticiones. Oh. Oh, jeez. That's not a good way to go. Dang it. See, I'm still taking it easy for Wolfie's sake. I'm not just gallivanting off every cliff face. Wolfie still is, but I'm not. Real noodle. Still pristine armor. I jinxed it. Your cat's name is Noodle? Or your cat is simply also a noodle? Ah, your cat is injured. In part to their noodly ways. Well, I hope everything turns out fine. Ooh. Figure out what the best way to go is here. I don't even know how Wolfie did that. Whee! My fleers. How floaty are your points? How pointy are your floats? Mine are this floaty. Look at all those floats. And points. So, how's everybody doing? We've already run out of things to talk about. What is the objective here? What truly is the objective? What is any of our objectives? Did you think about that? Oh. Well, here we're walking to the Farlands. This is Minecraft Beta 173, a very old version of the game that has the Farlands in it still. And we've been walking since March of 2011. And we're enjoying the journey and raising money for charity. That made me chuckle because we watched a YouTube video yesterday. We got recommended. Some lady was like, the top 19 things to know before you decide to own a donkey. And the girlfriend was down with that. So we're like, okay, we'll watch it. And this lady started going down the list. But she was just naming off points, but not offering any answers or advice to those points. Like, she was basically going, like, and number 15. What are you going to do with all the equipment that you need for a donkey? All your hay and feed and shovels and... Have you thought about that? Have you thought about that? Think about that. And then she go, number 14, like, not offered, like, what you need or where she stores stuff for her donkeys. So it was just every single one offered nothing of value other than just, have you thought about that? Think about that. What happens if you adopt a donkey and it's pregnant? What about that? Well, no, that's the thing. This lady... Ow, Wolfie. Careful, you dingus. Oh, that was a big one. Like, she lived on a farm and had donkeys and was recording the entire video surrounded by these donkeys. It was just not a good video. But YouTube thought it was good enough for us to watch, and we watched it. I mean, we fast-forwarded through it, but we watched it, so I guess it wasn't wrong. So yeah, I mean, she wasn't dissuading anybody from getting donkeys, but she was swaying people to watch her video. Yeah, I mean, just like Google results are all like top 10 lists of this thing, 2023. in order to get to the top of the search results. All right, that's a lot of Wolfie treats. I should release a video. Top 10 episodes of Farlands or Bust, and then just like link a playlist of 843 episodes. Whoa, this is cathedral ceilings. I didn't realize I dug up and down. Extra headroom. Kind of a little bit disorienting, honestly. All right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get rid of this pork chop and this gold eventually. I mean, and this charcoal. I mean, I guess I can start to. But our quick inventory bar sure looks snazzy with all that diamond. But there we go. A second hour, 2 streamed hours at least of Farlands or Bust Season 11. We're up to $570 raised for direct relief for the Hawaii wildfires. And that's where we're going to wrap it up today. So let's go to sleep and wrap it up for today. That does look weird. It's like almost right, but something's too tall. 53,807.3 megabytes.